And this will be available on our YouTube channel, our Oily Friends YouTube channel. So you can just expect that we'll always have something on Tuesdays, and then it'll be up on our Oily Friends YouTube channel, usually by Wednesday sometime. So just so you know, you can have a consistent place for education and things like that. So let's see here. I'm gonna get started here, and we're gonna talk about elevating your immune system. So you might want pen and paper. If you are on your phone and you want to take screenshots, you can totally do that too. If you are in our Faithful Growers group, which is a group of where we just teach people how to share Young Living with other people and help them on their health journey too, we actually have this class in our file, so you can use it and do a class in person if you want, with some of your loved ones, your friends and your family, or something like that. So just let me know if you need help with that. I actually have, I put all of the, summary of my research on this and stuff in some notes too, so you don't have to know anything about it. You just got to get people together and share. It's all right there done for you. If anybody knows how to turn, I'll have to figure out how to turn off the beeping for my notifications every time I get a message. So anyway, let's just go with it for now. So first I want to talk about our immune system. For those of you who don't know who I am your Diamond Leader with Oily Friends, and I'm a natural health practitioner. We focus, lots on holistic health, just whole body, whole mind, and all of that. So we're going to be looking at our immune system from a whole body perspective. The immune system is our absolute best line of defense against anything right now, in more ways than sometimes we even imagine. So supporting a strong, healthy immune system is definitely one of the most important things you can do for yourself and your family. So that is why I'm so glad you guys are here tonight. If you think about it, you can have two people, even in the same household, who can catch the same thing or be exposed to the same thing and handle it completely different. And sometimes we might wonder why that is. That obviously goes back to the immune system. And of course, not everybody's immune system is functioning the same way. So we're going to talk about how to make sure it's functioning as best as it can. First thing I want to know is if you guys remember learning about Louis Pasteur in science class. Louis Pasteur, pasteurization. He started the pasteurization process in his discovery that when you heat something to a certain temperature, that it kills the microbes in it, which could be what are problematic for health. Later on in his life, though, he actually learned that microbes aren't necessarily the problem. The problem is the terrain that the microbes are in. If the terrain is friendly to the invasion of pathogenic or problematic bacteria, so basically if it's more susceptible to the bad stuff, then the microbes would be a problem. But he actually figured too that in the presence of a healthy terrain, the harmful microbes would be inhibited or overruled by the beneficial microbes and things in the terrain, in the health of the terrain. And so he realized that it wasn't really the bacteria, the germs that was the problem. It's the terrain that they're coming into. So when we strengthen our immune system, we promote body systems that can easily handle incoming threats. The human body, this is pretty fascinating, actually contains more microbes than cells. So, you hear a lot of talk in the health world about cells, but there's not a lot of talk about the microbes so much. And we actually have more of those. And so the more we support those, the better we support our overall health. Without those various microbes, we would die. So the problem with the terrain actually starts with the balance of microbes, not that they should all be good, but that there should be more good than bad. So in this class, we're going to talk about how at least 70% of our immune system is in our gut, and how things like diet and stress affect our immune health. We're going to be talking about ways that the body responds to things that we might think are unfavorable, but are actually what we need. So for instance, fevers. A fever of 102 degrees is actually stimulating a healing white blood cell cascade in the body. So when the fever is lowered, the healing white blood cell cascade is inhibited, which can extend the illness. So what we're going to be talking about is supporting whole body instead of kind of just attacking symptoms of things. And supporting the body naturally at first takes a little bit of a mindset shift. So just hang in there with me if that's kind of something new to you. So then we're also, let's see here. Also going to just talk about how emotions affect immune health. When you think of the phrase mind over matter, it's not just a catchphrase. It's a truth based on what we know to be fact, that the brain, given the right set of directions, the right environment, the proper stimuli, will always choose healing over disease. This is the body's natural homeostasis response. Most people have never learned the huge role emotions play in their immune health, but this has actually been studied extensively in psychological research for decades, if not longer. Some experts claim that stress is responsible for as much as 90% of all illnesses and diseases, including cancer and heart disease. So let me just share with you a couple of examples, because I know for me that sounded kind of weird at first. A study by Pennsylvania State University found that individuals who were afflicted with negative moods for a long time tended to have a higher risk of inflammation of the biomarkers due to a weaker immune system. Conversely, when participants in this study were having a good mood, the results of the study are always positive, with decreased levels of inflammation in the blood. So you may have heard of like people getting ulcers when they're stressed or when they're chronically angry or something like that. This is because these emotions actually inhibit production of the body's stomach acid. So just kind of another way that emotions can affect us physically, stomach acid is necessary for digesting food, absorbing nutrients from food and supplements that are taken, neutralizing harmful bacteria that might otherwise weaken our immune system and things like that. So that's just another example. Research also shows that negative emotions like stress, worry, anxiety, and anger deplete the body of essential nutrients needed for immune health, minerals like magnesium, vitamin C, and B vitamins. So if you think about it, like sometimes when maybe you or somebody you know have been stressed or angry or really anxious about something, and you might notice muscle twitching, like eye muscle twitching, or a muscle cramp in the leg, or restless legs at night. All of these things indicate, or increased heart rate. All of those things indicate that the body is using up magnesium that otherwise relaxes muscles in order to support that production of cortisol, or stress hormone, that the body is using for that emotion. Also, exposure to acute stress, trauma, and fear have been shown in both mice and humans to compromise immune function and impair lymphocyte function. Lymphocytes are our white blood cells that fight viruses. So basically, fear and stress makes you more vulnerable to infectious diseases, which is kind of like right now, something I just wish the whole world could know right now. We just really want to help support healthy emotions so that we're not leaving ourselves more vulnerable to the things that are going on with that. So let's see here. I'm going to move this so we can kind of see that a little bit better. I'm going to actually, I don't know how to. Okay, we're going to go here, and now we're going to talk about how foods affect our immune health as well. And so, of course, the first thing we need to talk about is, the saying, you are what you eat. This is kind of a big thing when it comes to our immune system. Nutrient status is an important factor contributing to immune competence. We basically need to feed our immune system, and we can either feed disease or feed our, our health, our immune system, depending on what we take in. And one thing I like to remind people of is that our body, like the foods that we put into our body, if they're bad for us, they're not just bad for us. Like they don't just not give us nutrients. They are what we call negative nutrition foods, which basically means they will actually use up nutrients in the body in order to be digested and processed through the body. So the body needs certain nutrients to process foods. And if the foods themselves don't have those nutrients, some of which our immune system depends on, and then they will come out of our body somewhere, wherever they might be stored. So that's why they're called negative nutrition foods. Nutrients that have been demonstrated in studies to be required for the immune system to function efficiently include essential amino acids, fatty acids, vitamin A, folate, which is a B vitamin, and some of the other B vitamins, B6, B12, vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, copper, and selenium. Practically all forms of immunity may be affected by deficiencies or in one or more of these nutrients. And you might see studies floating around talking about how, this nutrient helps with this thing that's going on or going around or this or that. And thinking why, well, how can that be so much? And that's just like we talked about the negative nutrition foods, and as most people's diet is depleting those things. So let's look at the effect some specific foods have on our immune system. The first one, I know I'm not going to be everybody's best friend right here, but I just want to do you a fair duty and tell you this information. Refined sugar goes by names like cane sugar. That can even include organic cane sugar. Organic evaporated cane juice is another name it goes by. Beet sugar, brown sugar, powdered sugar, sucrose. So what happens with refined sugar is that we have white blood cells. We talked a little bit about white blood cells already. They perform the function of immune health by killing bacteria and viruses. Sugar has direct and severe effects on our body's white blood cells and their ability to work properly. So for instance, by drinking a 1 liter bottle of soda or by eating 100 grams of sugar, the reactivity of white blood cells reduces 40%, which is a major knock to the immune system. It can basically disable our immune system for 4 to 5 hours. So if that's, one meal time, and it's disabling the immune system for 4 to 5 hours, and then the next meal time might have a significant amount of sugar, also a latte and a donut, then the immune system is out for another 4 to 5 hours. So basically that could end up being virtually no functioning protection for somebody if that's a role. And so that's why it's my duty to share that information, as much as it's sometimes difficult to hear. Also, we want vegetable oils. This would be things like soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil, margarine, and things like that. A vegetable oil emulsion, which is made for intravenous injection, was marketed during the later part of the 20th century specifically for the purpose of, guess what, suppressing the immune system of patients who have received organ transplants. So it literally was designed as a medical procedure to suppress the immune system in people by using vegetable oil. A 1978 study showed that vegetable oils kill white blood cells. As we've learned, the immune system needs white blood cells to do its job. So why would we want to kill them by consuming vegetable oils? Just, if that's a new concept to you, think about looking for some alternatives, things like avocado oil, coconut oil, olive oil, things like that. And it's kind of sneaky sometimes. So just be careful, because I'll see things that say like avocado mayo, and then I'll turn it around and the first ingredient is soybean oil. And then towards the bottom, it has some avocado oil in it. And so just kind of start, reading labels and watching out for that. And then I included junk and fast foods on here because these are what we talked about with the negative nutrition foods, where they deplete nutrients out of the body with consumption rather than just not contribute nutrients like foods are supposed to do. So obviously what's in your grocery cart plays a very large role in your immune health. It definitely made a huge, huge difference for my family, and so much so that it's just not even something we feel tempted by anymore, because we love how we feel. We love how healthy that change has made us. All right, so that one was kind of a downer. Let's pick some things up and talk about some great things to power up our immune system. If you have been drinking Ningxia Red, you might know already the power of the Ningxia Wolfberry, which the benefits have been known for thousands of years by the Chinese. It's a national treasure to them. That's what they refer to it as. Not only do they support a healthy immune system, but they are loaded with minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants. So it's a great way to refuel your body and give your body the nutrients it needs for a strong, healthy immune system. There are over 80 species of wolfberries worldwide that vary immensely in their nutrient profile and things like that. The Ningxia wolfberries are the best. It has a lot to do with where they're grown. The water that waters the soil where they're grown runs off the mountains, and along the way it collects a lot of really powerful nutrients, and it puts those nutrients in the soil, and the plants pick it up. And so that's why it's got a lot higher nutrients than other wolfberries or goji berries, as some people know them. Ningxia wolfberries have been extensively researched for their unique and powerful benefits to the immune system. They have shown to promote a very large increase of white blood cells and a huge leap in immunoglobulin A. These are two very crucial immune response processes. And part of that has to do with the antioxidant content of these berries, like we talked about. So here's some of the things about how Ningxia Red is basically just this liquid nutritional superfood. It contains the puree of the wolfberries, so you're getting the whole fruit, which is everything in it, and that includes the prebiotics. Prebiotics feed good bacteria in the gut. Good bacteria in the gut, we'll talk about how important that is to immune health, but that's one of the other advantages of it. And then it also has some other great high antioxidant things in it. Blueberry juice, which contains ultra high levels of antioxidants. Pomegranates, which support cardiovascular health and are also rich in antioxidants. Apricots are revered for supporting longevity. Raspberries, known to protect the DNA. And then we've got the therapeutic grade lemon and orange dietary essential oils, which contain an antioxidant called D-limonene, and that's fabulous for a lot of things too. They sent this off to a laboratory called the Brunswick Laboratories, and it showed that Ningxia Red contained the highest amount of antioxidants when compared to other antioxidant drinks on the market. The workers in that lab were actually really fascinated with what they found, because they hadn't seen anything like it before. They had done some clinical trials that found that antioxidant supplementation can significantly improve certain immune responses. Supplementation with the antioxidant vitamins also protected immune responses in individuals exposed to certain environmental sources of free radicals. So just a few more reasons why this is one of my first go-tos for any immune support. Anytime anybody in my family is like, I might have been around this, or I might feel this or something, I'm like, double up on your Ningxia Red, go drink some more right now. So we talked briefly in the last slide about the dietary oils that are in Ningxia Red, and how they provide some therapeutic benefits to the body. These are specifically designed for internal use through ingestion. That can be capsules, that could be in liquid in foods, or sublingually. Some people tend to have concerns about using them internally. We have lots of research in our group. I like to approach things with research. So if you want, there's some of that in our group as well. These are just some more of our favorites for really powerful immune support. I wanted to pick the ones that I've seen the most research on, and I've seen the most benefits in people using them. And so I narrowed it down to these three. So we'll start with longevity. This is a powerful combination of some of the most powerful essential oils. Thyme. If you have a desk reference, I encourage you to look up thyme. You can search our group for thyme. It's an underrated, way powerful essential oil. It has orange, which we talked about, D-limonene in the citrus oils, clove, and frankincense. These are all fabulous for immune support. And this is a great one to just put in a capsule. I do 6 drops a day, and I have done that for a long time. And some people are doing a challenge where they're doing more and seeing great benefits too, not just for gut, immune, and all of that kind of thing, but also you can see the difference in their face and their skin, and just a more youthful look. The mountain savory is maybe a surprising one to some people. This has been used as a culinary herb for centuries, and it's a strong flavor, kind of like oregano. It's actually really powerful. I'd encourage you to look this one up. There's a lot that I can't go into detail about, but it's a very good choice for immune support, cleansing properties, and also it's great for delivering powerful antioxidants. And I've seen that one come up when we do Itobi scans on people that definitely need a lot more immune support and things like that. You can actually add it to foods too, meats, beans. It's kind of got that spicy herb flavor to it. And then, of course, thieves, which many of you probably already know about. This is the lemon, clove, eucalyptus, and cinnamon bark, and rosemary. They work synergistically together to really provide some great overall wellness and support for a healthy immune system. You could, a lot of people this time of year especially do thieves tea. You can add it to some warm liquids. Some people add it to their oatmeal and things like that, or just taking it in a capsule. Okay, we definitely have to talk about vitamin D if we're going to talk about keeping our defenses up strong. Research shows that vitamin D plays a very important role in immune function, and that a deficiency of it is shown time and time again, study after study, to increase your susceptibility to infection. Some studies have shown that vitamin D deficiency is even associated with a greater risk of self-reported upper respiratory tract infection. One of the main functions of vitamin D is to activate our killer T cells, they're called. These cells actually detect and destroy foreign pathogens like viruses. They're kind of like our army in our body. And so that makes vitamin D especially crucial for maintaining a functioning immune system that's capable of fighting back against things. And if you notice, a lot of the things that we need to protect our immune system against get worse in the winter time. And that goes back to vitamin D, of course. Experts predict that about 1 billion people worldwide have low levels of vitamin D or a deficiency, making it one of the most common vitamin deficiencies. And I will tell you, I test people. I have their blood tested for vitamin D, and I read through lots and lots of lab results with people and their vitamin D status. And I can probably count in 100 tests that on one hand, how many people actually had sufficient levels of vitamin D. And they were people who had tested before, knew they were low, and were aggressively supplementing to get their levels up. So I will say that it's probably safe to assume that you are low if you have not already tested or are aggressively supplementing. I say aggressively because a lot of times I get people who are like, I took a little bit, and maybe not consistently and stuff. And it just doesn't seem to work, at least in my experience from the test results that I've seen. So if you're testing, you want to see your results, your level get to as close to 60 as you can. Most people, and when I'm looking at lab results, they're around 20. And so that explains a lot of what we're dealing with susceptibility to infection and viruses and things like that. And this vitamin D is sublingual, which is a really powerful delivery method to absorb it quickly and efficiently in the body. Sometimes people can be taking vitamin D and it's not getting absorbed into their body. It goes through their liver's not working properly, which is why most people are low and not getting enough from the sun. And so I love that Young Living did this sublingually, because then you're absorbing it better. So a nutrient absorbed under the tongue will actually enter the bloodstream directly without having to go through the gastrointestinal tract. So since they are absorbed through the tongue, they're quickly released into the body, and the nutrients are not broken down. They're not affected by things that might be going on with the gut or anything like that. So everybody in my family likes these. The little kids, they love them. I love them. I prefer them over any other vitamin D that I've taken. For those who want to make sure that their supplements are plant-based, these are vegan friendly. They're synthetic free, obviously, and they're pretty much delicious. So it's also, it also contains lemon balm extract. You might also know that as Melissa, the plant Melissa, which is great also for supporting mood and hormone regulation, which kind of goes along with vitamin D and things like that too. So it's a really great combination of things. Okay, we've been talking a little bit about how your immune system is in your gut. That they actually say that 60 to 70% of your immune system is in your gut. They do taste good. I buy them as candy. They make great treats for kids if you want to be like, I'll give you a treat, but just keep them out of their reach because they might take too many if once they get a taste of them. So gut support is essential for a healthy immune system. Humans, like we talked about, have more bacteria than bacterial cells than human cells. And you know, the bacteria is not just in our gut, it's everywhere. It's on the surface of our skin, it's in our nose, in our ears, but most of all in the gut. Until recently, if most people thought about those bacteria at all, we tended to think of them as fairly separate from us. They help with digestion, but otherwise they stay on their side of the intestinal lining, we stay on our side. But actually there's a lot of interaction going on between the body's immune system and the bacteria in the gut. Dan Peterson, assistant professor of pathology at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, says a huge proportion of your immune system is actually in your GI tract. As one example of this connection, certain cells in the lining of the gut spend their lives excreting massive quantities of antibodies into the gut. A healthy gut that will in turn promote a strong immune system will have a healthy ratio of good to bad bacteria. It's generally 85-15 is just kind of a good, you know, what they say is a good ratio. But obviously we're not counting our bacteria. So it's just to say, if, you know, there's something that might be damaging to our gut, for instance, like sugar or something like that. If you think that you need to do, you know, 1585, you need to do a whole lot more to support your gut health if that's if that's a factor in stuff like that. So pathogenic bad bacteria is necessary, so it's not like we want to get rid of all of the bad stuff at all. And that's kind of where the problem with like antibiotics come in, is because it destroys everything, and that includes the good stuff. And so then it's kind of like letting the bad flourish. Bad bacteria will flourish when given the opportunity without the constraints of good bacteria to keep it down. But we also don't want to kill everything, because we do want some bad bacteria. That we actually have some physiological forms of things like E. coli and staph and stuff in us at all times. It just depends on if our immune system is functioning properly to keep them at bay. And they also help by priming our immune system to keep it going, and to keep it kind of like on its toes, right? So some people notice when their immune system is down, they might start getting these little, boils or rashes or something. And that's just because those things that have been laying dormant in there maybe got a little bit of an opportunity to flourish when the immune system was down. So taking probiotics every day is a fabulous way to promote a healthy amount of beneficial flora. It's not something that I would ever compromise on. We need probiotics. We need them every day. The problem is that a lot of people are relying on probiotics that really aren't doing anything. There was a Consumer Reports done that found that most of the probiotics purchased in stores and even online contain little to none of the viable bacteria strains stated on the bottle. So I have people that'll send me a picture and they're like, what about this one? This is what it says it has in the bottle. And it's hard because it doesn't matter what it says on the bottle. That means nothing as to what could actually be in the probiotics. So we need to make sure that what we're using for probiotics is actually viable, it's tested, it's stored correctly so that it maintains potency. And knowing that, when I first got Life9, I tested it. I test my probiotics that I'm going to make sure that I'm depending on to support our gut health by making them into yogurt. If they make yogurt, then they are viable. If they don't, then they're not doing anything for us. And I will tell you that the Life9 probiotic, the powder inside of it, made the best yogurt. It still does. It makes the best yogurt I've ever made with any probiotic supplement. So I know that it's doing something for my family. And then Mighty Pro is a great one for kids, but adults take them too because they're really great for traveling. Life 9 needs to stay refrigerated to maintain its potency, but because they're individually packaged, Mighty Pro does not. And so those work great for traveling and stuff like that too. Life 9 is designed with targeted release capsules, a dual sorbent desiccant, and a special bottle and cap to ensure that it stays fresh, but just make sure you keep it in the refrigerator once you open it. I keep it in the refrigerator until I open it as well, but that's just me. And then Mighty Pro is also contains prebiotics, which we talked about with Wolfberry. It feeds the good bacteria that you're putting in as well. Let's see here. If you're going to be adding them to food, if you like the Mighty Pro for kids or adults, if you're going to be adding them to food, make sure you're not adding them to food that's too warm, that it might kill the beneficial probiotics in it. All right, let's go on to one of my favorite things. Okay, this one, I really didn't want to talk about it too much because it's out of stock, and it's out of stock because everybody knows what I'm going to tell you about it. It's a really, really powerful immune support product. This one, if you actually maybe have heard lately, there's been a lot of great attention going to melatonin and how it can support the immune system. It's currently being researched much more in depth for its ability to calm the respiratory reactions that can occur with some viruses. Research specifically found that melatonin neutralizes the free radicals generated in that process and preserves cellular integrity, thereby preventing damage to the lungs. Of course, melatonin also can help you sleep, so it's something that you want to make sure to take before you go to bed and not right when you wake up or anything like that. But there's a lot of great research on melatonin also for supporting gut health. Our bodies, our body makes its own melatonin and things like that in the gut. But sometimes when the gut's not doing so well, it can't make those. And the cool thing is that when you supplement melatonin, sometimes it'll actually stimulate your gut or bring it to a better state of health where it can start making its own melatonin as well. So pretty cool research out there. This ImmuPro also has Ningxia Wolfberry polysaccharides, which are prebiotics again, and then a unique blend of reishi maitake and some other medicinal mushroom powders to deliver powerful antioxidant activity to help reduce the damaging effects of oxidative stress from free radicals. And it also contains zinc and selenium. There's been some really cool research coming out lately on that for things that are going around and stuff like that too. So it's pretty cool. Let's see here. Melatonin, ImmuPro are chewables. And so we actually use them in our house for kids as well. I will cut it in half for the kids. Some people cut it in quarters for smaller children and give it to them. And I will make sure, like when I was traveling a lot, I would always take it after I would travel the night that I would be going to sleep after traveling and things like that too. So I don't know when that will be back in, but we're all really hoping it comes back in soon. So I hope I didn't just get your excitement up for something we can't get right now. Let's talk about Young Living's inner defense, which reinforces systematic, it should say, defenses, creates unfriendly terrain for yeast and fungus. We talked about how the terrain is everything. So what we're trying to do here is just creating a terrain that is powerful against things that might come at us. It promotes healthy respiratory function, and that's due to the oils in it. So it's got oregano, thyme, and then the oils that are in the thieves blend that we talked about too. So what does that all mean? We call this one the big guns. It's one of those that make sure to always, always, always have on hand. Always have this one in an emergency. We take it as soon as we've been around somebody with something, or the second we feel something. Some people choose to just take it daily lately, especially. Some people take it as needed. But always make sure, this is just my personal recommendation, always make sure to have at least a full bottle of this on hand, because I get a lot of messages from people going through something and I'm like, okay, you need to start dosing with inner defense. And they're like, I don't have any, or I have 3 left or something. And there's really not something that's a great replacement for it, just because of the way that it's formulated, and you're not going to find anything like it that you can buy in stores or anything. And it's a really great way to avoid some things that I can't really talk about. But when you might have to take something that is maybe not going to be so good for the gut, this is a great way to knock stuff out when you need to, but not damage the gut. Because the essential oils, when they're in their natural state, like the way that they are, and I have some research in our group on this too, it's really fascinating. These don't kill the good bacteria. It doesn't kill the good guys that we need. It's smart. The way that it's created in nature, it's smart. It knows the good from the bad, and it only knocks out the bad stuff. So pretty awesome. And then I just am kind of sharing a little bit of what I think would be great for most people. This is part of my daily immune regimen, and these are the things that I really prioritize right now. Like if I'm going to be gone, if we're going to be traveling in our RV or something, I make sure that we bring these with. So 2 to 6 ounces a day of Ningxia Red. I know that sometimes this is maybe a tough one to budget in, but if there's any way that people can budget in this time of the year, you will see a difference in your immune system, prioritizing that. And then we talked about vitamin D, so 2 to 10 tablets a day based on where your body's at with that. If you don't know and you're not testing, I think it's probably safe to say that for most adults, you'll want to have, so I think each one's about 2,000 IUs. And so you'll want to have about 2, let me think here, 2, 3 a day is a really good spot for most adults that are just safe to assume that they're low. And then for kids, 1 to 2 a day, depending on, like some kids when they're low, we'll make sure that they get 2 a day until they get back up to where they need to be, and then they can go down to 1 a day. And then 1 to 3 probiotics a day. If your bowels are moving slow, take it up a notch with the probiotics and go to 2 or 3 a day, because we need to keep that moving for the gut and immune health to be good too. So I think that's, let me see here. And I think, okay. And so then here's the power up regimen. If you really want to hit it hard and make sure that you're powering up your immune system, vitality oils, like we talked about, Mountain Savory, Longevity, Thieves, you can do 2 to 10 drops. You can do more. Some people do more in a capsule a day or in teas or something like that. ImmuPro, when that comes back in. Some of us are actually using Sleep Essence right now in place of ImmuPro for the melatonin. I personally stocked up on Sleep Essence to make sure that we have melatonin and the good oils that are in there. The cool thing too about Sleep Essence is that it contains lavender oil, which has some research behind it for helping soothe and promote gut health and things like that too. So there's benefits either way you go. And then having inner defense on hand to take every day or to just power up when you need to is a really great option. So I hope that kind of simplifies. I know that you might see in groups like there's all this you can do and there's this you can do and I do this and stuff. And there's no wrong way to do it. You'll find out what works for you and do it. I just want to kind of make it simple if you're just starting out and you're like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Those are some good starting places for you. And then you can kind of go from there. One thing I want to talk about too is the Ningxia Red Essential Rewards Kit is the cheapest way to get Ningxia Red. It's only on Essential Rewards orders. And there are lots of different packages and stuff like that, but the one on Essential Rewards is the cheapest per ounce. But if you live somewhere cold where it might freeze in the glass bottles, then for winter, you'll want to switch to the packets so that it doesn't break on you. So that's what I have for you guys tonight. I will stop the recording, and then if you have any questions, I'll leave time for that. Otherwise, you guys can always just check with me or your sponsor or somebody, and we can help you too. So let me see if I can get this stopped. How do I do this? There we go.